project ahead of us. We are planting up this new garden bed here at Garden Crossings, and we're going to be planting it with almost exclusively all the Bloomables line of perennials. So I don't even know how many bloomable perennials we have going in this bed right now, but I'm going to show you all of them. So hold on and enjoy a big video full of lots of beautiful blooming perennials. In addition, in this garden bed, we're going to be putting a few shrubs in, and of course a few Proven Winner annuals as well to give us that consistent color throughout the summer. But the majority of this bed is going to be dedicated to the Bloomables line of perennials. So some of these that we'll be planting today are new introductions for 2025. So this is also a trial garden where we're going to be trying some of these new introductions so that next year when they come to the market, we'll be able to give you all the inside scoop of how they did here in our garden. So the area we are standing on right now is actually a big long drain field. So when we put the new offices in here along this space, we had to move our drain field, and instead of making it more wide, we made it nice and long. So standing right now, I am on top of the drain field. So this area for now is going to all get grassed eventually because we really don't want to plant anything, especially shrubs that have deep roots on top of the drain field. So this is just going to be a nice green space that's going to be bordered with all these beautiful perennials and annuals. So let's go ahead and dig in and take a look at all of the perennials that we're going to be planting in this space. Now, there's going to be a lot of plants we're going to talk about today, and I'm going to try to hold the pot up and show you the tag. That way, if you need to stop the video to take notes, you can do so. Most of these plants are on our website, gardencrossings.com, or in our local garden center here in Zeeland, Michigan. So if there's something that you're liking, you can either head to the website to place your order or come and shop in person here in our store. There are some new introductions. Those obviously are not going to be available until 2025, but I will still show you the name of the plant so you can jot a note if it's something you're interested in for next year. So like I said, hold on. This is going to be a long video packed full of great information, and let's start showing you some of the plants. So we're just going to start right at the beginning here. This here is our bark bin, also where we're storing pallets and any of our compost material. So it's kind of not a very pretty thing to look at. So we have some North Pole arborvitaes that we are going to be planting along this wall. So these are going to be an evergreen that just really hides anything and everything behind it. We're planting these approximately about 4 foot apart or so, because when these are full grown, we want to make sure that it's a wall, not space between it. So this is just going to give us that nice evergreen look that's going to block out this ugly space behind me. We're also planting a nice row here of annuals just to kind of give this color some consistent pops of color. We're using Sun Patience. This is the Sun Patience purple. And then we have the Selenia begonias. These are sun begonias, and this is going to give us that beautiful splash of yellow. So that's going to be consistent color throughout the entire summer. Starting down here on the end, we have an Agastache or hyssop. This Agastache is called Little Adler. And I'm going to let you go to the website to get all the details as far as the zone information and the heights of this plant, because that would just be making this video much longer. So by giving you the name, you can go to the website and find information on this plant. This is a hyssop or Agastache. It blooms all summer long. So this is going to be a lot of color that continues throughout the summer. Next, we have Scabiosa or pincushion flower. And you can see this thing is just loaded with blooms. This one here is called Flutter Rose Pink. This too is another long blooming perennial that's going to give us color in this area throughout the summer. There's a lot of coneflowers in the Bloomables program, and this one here is part of the Sombrero series, and I'm sure you've heard of the Sombrero series before. This is Sombrero Tango Tangerine. So these are going to be more midsummer bloomers, And you know, coneflowers, they too are a fairly long blooming perennial in the garden. Penstemon. We don't have any penstemon in any of our gardens yet. So this is going to be a new thing for us to watch. And this one is penstemon, or beard tongue is another name, rock candy ruby. Beautiful cherry red flower spikes on this. This is going to be a hummingbird dream. Continuing along, we've got some more coneflowers. Because we have so many, we're going to see a lot of pockets of coneflowers throughout in this garden. This one here is another one that's part of the sombrero series, and this one is called sombrero lemon yellow, a really crisp, clean, yellow looking single flowering coneflower. Next is another flower that's new to us in our gardens. We don't have any of these. This is a wallflower called Bowls Me Away. Beautiful purple flower, and this was early blooming in the greenhouse, so I think this is going to be one of those flowers that's going to give us early color in this garden bed as well. So in the plantings, we're doing groupings of three of every plant, just to give us kind of a mass look of color throughout. Another Agastache or hyssop. This actually is a new variety for 2025. So this one is called Agastache Summer Long Peach. So this one I don't really have a perfect tag to show you, but I will show you the sticker so that you can jot down the name. There are 4 in this Summer Long series, and this one here is a beautiful kind of a peachy orange color, fragrant, and this is something the hummingbirds and butterflies are going to love. Let's see. So we sold out of our gallon size super blue lavender, so we went to our quart sizes. So we'll be getting these planted in the garden as well. Beautiful lavender. And this one here, about 12 inches tall, so very compact in its size. Up front, some low growing sedum. This is sedum, what a doozy. Beautiful variegated foliage. And this one will get yellow flowers on it when it starts to bloom. Tucked in the back here are some new butterfly bush, and these are called Buddleia or butterfly bush, chrysalis steel blue. So I'm envisioning that to be kind of a lighter blue color butterfly bush, compact size. So these will probably only get about 3 foot tall or so. So we got those tucked in the back. Beautiful splash of silver. So not all your flower interest has to come in the form of, or not all your interest in your garden has to come in the form of flower. Foliage is also a great use of color in a garden. And this one here, this has been really popular this year in the garden center. It's a form of a Dusty Miller. It's called Silver Swirl. I should point out we are a zone 6A garden here in Zeeland, Michigan. So all of these plants are intended for being planted in at least a zone 6. A lot of these even go cooler down to zones 5 and zones 4. And I feel like in general perennials kind of max out around zone 8 or 9. So you'll want to get that information on each specific plant by pulling it up on the website. Tucked in the back corner here is another penstemon. This one is rock candy purple. Beautiful dark purple blooms. And I think too this is going to be one of those earlier bloomers and last fairly long throughout the summer. So we'll kind of watch and see how this does as the summer goes on. We did also plant, this is one of the Proven Winner trees, and let's see if the name is on it here. Pink Snow Showers. It's a weeping cherry tree. So we just added this in to give a little interest and a little height into this garden. It's kind of pretty how it sways and blows in the breeze. So we'll kind of watch and see. We don't sell trees here at Garden Crossings, so don't let this fool you. But we're going to be doing a trial on it for Proven Winners. We also did kind of a little swoop here of our quart size Fairy Trail Bride hydrangeas. So there's Fairy Trail Bride, Fairy Trail White, and Fairy Trail Green hydrangeas. So these are a Zone 6 hydrangea, and they recently were a Zone 7, and now they said that they're actually a little bit hardier than the original Zone 7 thought. So we're planting these here in our Zone 6 garden to see how they do and how they overwinter. So we'll be sure to update you, as the summer goes on, how they do, but also next spring, did they overwinter or not in this Zone 6 garden. So we've got, looks like 2 of each of the varieties, the white, the green, and the bride in the Fairy Trail hydrangea family. This too is a good indicator of what a quart-sized shrub looks like. For those of you who are wondering, what does a quart-sized shrub look like? We've also got this unique plant. It's got beautiful foliage, beautiful yellow flowers. This is called a moneywort or a Lasmachia, and Nightlight is the variety. So that's not only beautiful flower color, but foliage interest as well. Gotta make sure I'm putting them back where I grab them from, because we're gonna come through here in just a little bit with our auger and get all these holes drilled in and all these plants planted up. Another in the chrysalis butterfly bush family. This is butterfly bush chrysalis pink. These flowers look a little bit purple to me, so we'll have to see what they continue to look like throughout the summer. But a low growing butterfly bush that really tucks in nicely in with a lot of the perennials that we're planting. Another Agasachi. This is a hyssop, and this is another one part of the summer long series, and lilac is the color. So long blooming blooms are going to be absolutely beautiful once they start to open up, and very fragrant as well. All right, Nepeta. This here is Nepeta Junior Walker. This one gets about 18 inches tall, fragrant, another long blooming perennial. So when they laid these out, I had them kind of look at not only the heights of the plant, but when do they bloom, how long do they bloom. That way we're going to consistently have color going on throughout this bed from early season later on into the fall. An Achillea or yarrow. This one is New Vintage Violet. Now, many of these bloomable perennials we have carried for years. We carried in our Proven Selection line. But Ball Horticulture created a new line for their plants called Bloomables. And so we thought, what, let's go ahead and get the plants in the Bloomable program and let's see how it does. So it's been really quite popular in the garden center this year. People have loved the different varieties that are offered in the Bloomable series, opposed to many of the perennials in the Proven Winner series that they don't have all these things in the Proven Winner series. So it's been nice to be able to extend our perennial line a little bit with the Bloomables. Another pincushion flower or Scabiosa. This one is Flutter Pure White with beautiful white blooms. Another long blooming perennial, and it just kind of dances in the breeze. Armeria is another one of those kind of fun and whimsy looking flowers. This one here is Armeria Dreamaria Daydream, which is a beautiful light pink flower that just kind of blooms and shows a lot of color all summer long. Compact in height, so it's not going to get very tall. You can see it just has a very low growing bushy foliage habit, and then the flowers just dance nicely above the greenery. All right, another new variety for 2025, Agastache Summer Long Coral. One thing I do like about the bloomable perennials is a lot of the perennials in this collection are and do fit under that long blooming category. So flowers that you can enjoy for not just weeks, but months during the summer. Coneflower here, echinacea. This is Sombrero Blanco, a pure white blooming coneflower, single flower form. And up front with a lower growing habit is another sedum. And this one here is, oh, actually, my bad. It's not a sedum at all. It's an alyssum, Alyssum Golden Spring. So this will be early season color. You can see the little yellow flowers on it. It's a spring bloomer, so when it's not blooming, we're going to see this kind of bluish green foliage in the garden. You may be able to hear the augers in the background. They're getting started on planting as we're going along. Check out this foxglove or digitalis. The branching on this plant is incredible. Look how many flower spikes there are. This is really a nice sturdy plant, tons of flower. The branching is just unseen. Digitalis Arctic Fox Rose. And this is definitely a hummingbird loving plant. Ben's behind us here, getting all the spacing done. We'll talk about the annuals here shortly when we get around to them. Next we have a Delosperma or ice plant. This is a new variety for 2025. Ocean Sunset Violet Flare. That is a beautiful, beautiful color. Now we're getting into some of our double form of coneflowers. Here we have the double scoop mandarin, which is going to be kind of a nice orangey reddish flower. The double flower form. We'll be finding more of them as we go along, so I can show you what the double flower form looks like. This is going to be one of the first things I think to bloom in the garden. This is candy tuft. It's called Snowsation, also known as Iberis. And you can see it's still in flower a little bit. Kind of has a habit similar to a creeping phlox, but it's going to give us a bright splash of white in that early season garden. Coreopsis. This is part of the Uptick series. This is Uptick Gold, a pure golden yellow flower, fairly long blooming. So this garden has got so many plants in it that I think are going to be really inviting to the hummingbirds, the butterflies, all of the favorite pollinators that we welcome here into our gardens. Up front, another fabulous foliage plant that does give some spring flower. This is the Golden Feathers Jacob's Ladder. And to be honest, I plant this one more so for the foliage than I do the flowers. It's got beautiful lavender spring flowers, which they're done now at this point in the season. But the foliage is just outstanding how it pops in the gardens. A favorite of mine is Delphinium, and this is Delphinium Red Lark. It's a beautiful, beautiful kind of a pinkish watermelon colored flower. So you can see, I mean, look at the substance to this plant. Strong stems. Delphinium get fairly tall, so it's important that they have strong stems to be able to hold those big flowers. So it's going to send up a beautiful flower spike, and we got 3 of them in here, so I'm excited to show you as this guy begins to bloom. Another Coreopsis. This is Coreopsis Uptick Gold and Bronze. Extra large flowers, kind of that burgundy center with that golden yellow edge. This is another fairly long blooming perennial in the garden. And one thing to say is when your perennials stop blooming, or you feel like they're just kind of petering out for the season, go ahead and give them a trim, because a lot of them, they're going to reward you with a second bloom cycle. Here's a good example of double cone flowers. This is Double Scoop Cranberry. The Double Scoop series signifies double flowers. And these are nice large double flowers as well. There's so many different variations in this double scoop series that there's certainly going to be a color for just about anybody. More armeria up front. Again, compact habit, just kind of bobbles in the breeze. This is the armeria Sweet Dreams, part of the Dream Area series. And again, just so fun and whimsy as it blows in the garden. Giant coneflowers. Look at them flowers. Aren't they gorgeous? So this here is the double scoop series, and this is Raspberry Deluxe. So the double scoop series has been improved with the deluxe series, and basically what the deluxe series means is it's better branching, stronger stems, and larger flowers. Look at those flowers. That is quite a flower, isn't it? Oh, and they're even fragrant. Wow. They smell really nice. Foxglove digitalis. Here is a pure soft butter yellow. This is a new variety for 2025. This is part of the Arctic Fox series, and it's called Lemon Cream. Again, excellent branching. As the one you saw earlier, had tons of flowers on it. Great branching, really sturdy flowers there. Beautiful color, and I just love how this plant has kind of the flower spikes on it, so it kind of gives a little different texture and look out in the garden. So excited to watch and see how this new for 2025 perennial does in the garden this year. Up front we have some salvia, and these had gotten so tall and they've already bloomed in the greenhouse, so we gave them a nice trim back. So you'll see there's a lot of trimming marks on there, and by doing that, what we're doing is we're forcing more growth. So you'll see these little leaves here. That's all new growth that's coming. So this plant is going to continue to flower throughout the summer because of the trim that we gave it. This particular variety is Salvia Blue Bayou, and this one has been a super good seller. The quartz, we sold out of those probably a good month ago, and I was shocked at how fast this plant sold out. So there's a lot of you that are familiar with this Salvia Blue Bayou and know just what a great plant this is. Double Scoop Bubble Gum, another coneflower, part of the Double Scoop series, which signifies double flowers and double blooms. Great branching, nice full plant, and we'll be seeing some pink flowers on this soon. For those of you who have held on this long and have watched everything we've shown you so far, thank you for that. We're getting close to the end. Like I told you in the beginning, this video is going to be packed full of information, packed full of flowers and fun things that you'll want to be checking out for your garden. This here is the Helenium. It's called Helen's flower. Salud Yellow is the color. So I see lots of buds on this plant. So we'll be able to see what it looks like once it starts blooming. I'm guessing in a couple weeks or so by the size of the buds. All right, Sombrero Tres Amigos. So Tres Amigos has got several colors that kind of come off in one plant. You'll see shades of pink, red, orange, a lot of different variations. Let's see, the tag is not in this one, but there is the name, Sombrero Tres Amigos. More long blooming color in the hyssop. This is another one in that new variety series, the Summer Long series, Agastache Summer Long Magenta. Beautiful magenta purple blooms, fragrant flowers. It kind of reminds me of like the anise candy, if you're familiar with that. It's a really pretty smelling plant. Oenotheria, or evening primrose. This is called Evening Sun. This is one of those plants that kind of blooms in the night or later on in the day. Really large yellow flowers, kind of a unique, airy, silvery looking foliage. mounding ground cover. So that's why we got it tucked up here in the front of the garden. Another scabiosa or pincushion flower. This one is called Scabiosa Flutter Deep Blue. So this comes in white, pink, and blue to kind of refresh your memory. Long blooming perennial that the butterflies just love. Oh, this is a pretty agastache. Nice yellow color. This is another one part of that Summer Long series, Agastache Summer Long Lemon. Really beautiful, fragrant yellow blooms. You're really used to seeing kind of the purples and the pinks in this series. So to see this really bright yellow is quite stunning. Veronica Skyward Lilac. This is a new Veronica that you'll be seeing in 2025. As this begins to bloom out in the garden, we'll be sure to update you with its flowers so that you can see what the blooms look like. Now I know this habit is not like, this isn't the best way to be showing you these plants because they're looking kind of not great, but these are grown in the greenhouse. We just hauled them out here to plant. So typically when these come up in the garden, these branches, they're really sturdy. They're going to stand upright. But this here is the Penstemon. Cherry Sparks is the variety. Beautiful cherry red blooms with a striking white center. Something the hummingbirds are going to love. Sedum ground cover right up front center here. This is the Sedum Shamrock. I'm loving the green foliage with the red stems. So we'll see if this blooms at all, and we'll be sure to update you as it does. Feeling like a kid in a candy store right now. I don't know about you, but it's always so fun and exciting to see new plants, and this is just so much fun. Shasta Daisy White Cap. This is a variety that's been on the market for quite some years. You can see the nice substance and form of this plant. Flowers are starting, so we'll continue to update as this one blooms. Yarrow or Achillea. This is part of the New Vintage series, New Vintage Red. So as this blooms, we'll show you the color red it is. I don't know, what do you think? Should we stop now or should we continue and talk more coneflowers? This is coneflower heaven over here. I mean, this is going to be so beautiful once all these coneflowers start to bloom. So let's go ahead and take a look, because why stop now when we're showing a whole bunch of good things. But before we head into coneflower heaven, let's take a look here. This is a Helianthus Autumn Glow. Autumn Gold, my bad. Looks a lot like a Coreopsis with its beautiful golden yellow flowers. Okay, coneflowers. That is stunning. Which one is it, you ask? This is part of the Deluxe series, Double Scoop Watermelon Deluxe. And it smells really nice. Sombrero Baja Burgundy. One of, I think, my favorite burgundy blooming coneflowers. Now these colors are a little bit muted right now, so we'll update you as new flowers come out, but this is truly a very vibrant burgundy blooming coneflower. Is it Adobe Orange? It is Adobe Orange. Sombrero Adobe Orange, again, is a very nice, crisp, clean orange. See the bloom there, really vibrant out in the garden. Okay, here's another Coreopsis, Uptick Red. So this is going to get pure, so this is going to get red with golden edged flowers. A lot of buds, so we'll show you once this guy starts blooming. Ooh, here's a pretty pink. Sombrero rosata. Beautiful pink blooms. So some of what you'll see with the sombrero and the double scoop series is variation in obviously not only flower color and flower form, but also the heights. So they're not like straight across the board all the same height. So you'll kind of want to watch the heights to see which ones might be a little taller or a little shorter than others. All right, Granada Gold is my guess. Yep, Sombrera Granada Gold. Beautiful golden yellow blooms. The thing we like about the Sombrero series is they're very reliable here in our Zone 6 gardens. So very rarely do I have to worry about them not coming back year after year. They've proven to be excellent with their hardiness and coming back really nice and full from year to year. Sombrero Sangrita. This is going to be kind of an orangish red. So bloom just starting there. And in the center of this area, we're going to shake it up and kind of step away from the Bloomables. And we're going to put one of our favorite new hydrangeas, Quick Fire Fab, which is going to get about 6 to 8 foot tall. This is an earlier blooming hydrangea. Usually it starts blooming in July. And the point of putting this Quick Fire Fab right here in the center is if you look behind me, you'll see we have a bank of air conditioners kind of beyond that shipping cart. And we just wanted something tall enough that it would hide kind of that corner and hide all the air conditioners. So this should get tall enough that it'll just kind of block out that corner along the bathrooms and the new office area. All right, and the last plant we have here is a yarrow or Achillea, and this is part of the new vintage series as well, and this is the new vintage rose. So there was 3 in the new vintage series, and when planting this garden we tried to keep, with the exception of coneflowers obviously, we tried to keep similar families of plants separated, and in doing so the thought with that is realistically all Achillea are going to kind of start blooming about the same time in the season, so that way we'll have pokes of various color throughout this long garden bed throughout the season. I believe this garden bed is about 100 to 150 foot long. We kind of planted it with 3 tiers per se, 3 plants of each, and then we're going to actually step down to where our picnic tables are and show you the annuals that we are lining the bed with, because we know perennials cycle and have their season of color. We wanted to make sure that this bed was always showing some sort of color. So let's take a closer look at the annuals we planted. So as we're in our offices here, which are all the windows you're seeing along this wall, we're all getting to gaze out at beautiful color. The annuals we're going to be seeing consistently throughout the season are intentionally planted with the hopes of attracting the butterflies and the hummingbirds to this garden. So what we used is we used the Mini Vista Hot Pink Supertunias, and these we have them planted in an 8-inch hanging basket. That way we can grow them up in the ceiling, so it gives us kind of a space-saving way of growing the plants, but it also helps us start off with a larger plant for more instant impact as we are planting the spaces up. Next we did Kufia Vermillionaire. For those of you who know, you know. Kufia Vermillionaire is probably one of the top 5 hummingbird attracting annuals there are. The flowers themselves aren't super exciting in my opinion. I mean, they're just kind of little tubular orange flowers, and I'm not saying that because they're orange. I'm just saying the flowers aren't super like exciting. They're not big, they're not bold, but they're the perfect flower for the hummingbirds. And this plant, man, it is definitely a hummingbird attracting annual. And then last, we did some of the Verbena meteor showers. So verbena meteor showers is an excellent plant for the butterflies. Like frequently out in the gardens, we're seeing the monarchs, the black swallowtails, all of the various butterflies that come and visit our gardens hanging out on these meteor showers, verbena. Are they fragrant? Let's find out. Light fragrance, nothing too special, but it's definitely a flower that the butterflies love and enjoy. So we kind of repeated this onwards all the way down the bed, different blockings of these various plants to give us that consistent season-long color. So we're really excited to update you on this garden bed as it progresses, as they kind of get settled into their new home. And as new things come into bloom, we'll update you on those, as well as doing follow-up on some of the things that are currently blooming. I know this video was packed full of a ton of information, and I appreciate that you've watched it. And if you have any questions on any of these plants we talked about today, please feel free to leave a comment below. I'll make sure that I get to it and answer it for you. A lot of these varieties are new for 2025, so I do have some fact sheets on these plants. Get you more information on them if you're wondering about their hardiness zones or how tall they get. I'll be able to provide you with that information. So thanks for watching. If you're new to our channel, we welcome you to subscribe. I'm Heidi from Garden Crossings.